When they sat Sheila and Stephen down to let them know that they had found Maddie, they wanted to know where she was, and they said she was across the street. When she didn't come home for dinner, she went out the door, she yelled for her, "Maddie, Maddie," and she did not see her. So she sent her oldest daughter, Jessie, to go look for her. She rode her bike around, she called her sister's name, she knocked on doors where she thought she may be, and she could not find her little sister, Maddie. Before you know it, Sheila called the cops and got them involved. They came out, they started searching the neighborhood. As the investigators continued to look around, this is when they stumbled across their first suspect. There was a guy that lived in the neighborhood named Larry. Now, Larry always played with the children, and typically the neighbors didn't think anything of it until they found out that he was a S offender. Now, he was not an S offender to children, but he was allegedly nonetheless. And so the investigators brought him in. They asked him to take a lie detector test, and they asked him questions pertaining to the disappearance of Maddie, and he failed the lie detector test. So, boom, got your guy, right? The problem was he had a strong alibi. However, everything with the disappearance of Maddie would change on November 10th, just 7 days later after she was deemed missing. The little boy that lived across the street, 14-year-old Joshua's mother, went into his room to clean it while he was at school. She noticed a super foul smell that was coming from the room. Oh, you guys. She could not get rid of the smell. She was going in, she was picking up socks and dirty underwear. She noticed that he had air freshener and like incense all over the place. And in her mind, she's like, this nasty little 14-year-old, where he's got some dirty drawers somewhere around here that is stinking up the whole room. I mean, is there a rat dead in here? What is it? She continued to clean, looking for something that was causing this foul smell. So when she went to go look further, she noticed that the wooden part of the waterbed was duct taped. It had tape around it, like somebody had purposely taped it together. She pulled the tape off to pull the wood back to see what was under there, where the leak was. And this is when she saw a human foot. She freaked out. She ran out of the house, ran down the neighborhood, and started looking for a cop. Now, there were plenty of police in that neighborhood because they had been looking for little Maddie. She called the cop into the house, into her son's bedroom, and she could not even tell him what she saw. She just pointed. And when the cop opened up that piece of wood and he saw the foot, that is when he called for backup. The cop called for backup, and it just so happened that he had other officers were in Maddie's house, and one of them was sitting on the floor playing a board game at that moment with little Jessie when he got the call, and he had to abruptly leave the game and go across the street to Joshua's house. This is when they saw that she had been strangled. She had marks around her neck. She had stab wounds, and she was nude from the waist down, other than her socks. They took her body in, they got their information together, and they went over to the Cliftons' house to let them know that they had found Maddie. When they sat Sheila and Stephen down to let them know that they had found Maddie, they wanted to know where she was, and they said she was across the street. They were completely devastated. I mean, like, what do you mean she was across the street? And they had to say that, you know, she's not alive anymore, and we found her under the 14-year-old little boy's bed. And they were freaking out. I mean, that little boy and his parents had came and searched for her. They were out there searching for her the night she went missing with flashlights. I mean, none of this made sense to them. The investigators went to Joshua's school and obviously got him out of school and took him down to the Juvenile Justice Center and took him into a room for questioning. As they began to press Joshua, at first he tried to act like he didn't know anything, and then eventually he broke. And this is when he told the story of what he said at this point happened to little Maddie. He said that he was home alone and that Maddie came up knocking on the door and wanted to play. He said that he told them, nope, my dad's not home. I'll get in trouble. I got to do chores. I'm not allowed to play. He says that Maddie pressed the issue. Please, 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 please come play, like typical kid stuff, if that's even true. And that he caved and he said, okay. He said that he went outside and began to hit like softballs and baseballs with her. He said that he hit one and it hit her in the eye and she began to scream, cry, and bleed. He said that he freaked out. He took her in the house to help her and she would not stop screaming and crying and bleeding. And so he hit her over the head with something a couple times to get her to stop. He said then she began to whimper and he took her up to his room. And around this time, he said his dad came home and he said he was terrified. He said he shoved her under the bed, told her to be quiet, whatever. And when his dad got home, he ran downstairs. Hey, Dad, I'm just up here doing homework, whatever he told him, greeted his father. And then he went back up and he said he heard little Maddie under the bed whimpering again. And so this is when he said he took another weapon and stabbed her multiple times to get her to stop whimpering. He said he just completely freaked out. At this point, he was obviously put under arrest and charged with first-degree murder. When little Maddie's body had the autopsy done, it showed a bit of a different story. I mean, first of all, why were her clothes missing from the bottom half? Now, they did say that they could not find any evidence that there was an SA, but it still makes no sense. Now, Joshua would tell the investigators that it came off when he was pushing her under the bed, right? Like her socks stayed on, but that didn't. Disgusting, but we'll get there. The exam showed that she was never hit in the head with a baseball or anything. There was no kind of proof that said that what he said was true. Now, it was later said that Joshua was obsessed with Maddie's big sister, Jessie. I mean, I even seen things that said that he had a picture of her that he stole in his room and that he was possibly wanting to get to Jessie when he got to Maddie. Joshua was found to be looking at dirty images, porno, you know what I'm trying to say here, before this situation happened with Maddie and after. So my thoughts is, I think that he was being exposed, whether it be something he seeked out, whether it be something that he saw his dad doing and then he went and looked at. He was being exposed to things of a nature as a young boy and became obsessed with it and decided he wanted to act it out. And he lured little Maddie into the house because he couldn't get to her sister, Jessie. He was able to get another trial hearing in 2017. And when he had this trial hearing, this is when he apologized for the first time to the family. And it was a long, heartfelt apology from him.
I've wanted to say this for a very long time. And I'm grateful that this chance to do so in person has arrived. I don't pretend to know or understand your pain or to grasp the void that I have created in your lives. I can say this: I do understand pain. I have become quite intimate with suffering. Growing up in prison, I have seen many dark things, and I've been to some dark places. Many times throughout this journey, I came dreadfully close to ending my life just to escape it all. During these times, I was embroiled in a flurry of emotions and feelings. Guilt, despair, pain, hopelessness, fear, and shame. Each time, I was somehow able to continue on, mostly because I couldn't stand to put my mother through any more trauma. She's been through enough. There were times that I was angry at her because I couldn't end my pain because of her love. Yet now, I'm eternally grateful to her. I'm grateful to her because as I've grown up, I have learned the value of life. I've learned to see the beauty and joy in a world full of strife and experience the truth of unconditional love. I wish to God that I could have known this or understood it when I was 14. Had I then, none of this would have come about. I had no clue what life meant, what death meant, nor the depths of suffering that could follow one act. I had no inkling of how long that suffering could last. I hadn't lived long enough to understand the time involved or what really suffering was. I did something horrible. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what happened. Even now, after all these years, it is just unfathomable that all this could have occurred. It tears my mind asunder to know that I stole such a precious life from you, from the world. I so wish I could take away your pain. I thank God that I've been able to continue on in life and grow. But not a day goes by that I don't think of what led me to where I'm at. Not in prison, but in life. I pray every day that you're able to live your lives in spite of the injury I've caused you. I'm supremely grateful to have an opportunity at physical freedom. Yet any joy that arises in my heart is immediately tempered by the knowledge that these proceedings bring all involved once again face to face with the horror that occurred in 1998. When I walk the rec yard here in chains, I look to the sky through mesh wiring, and I thank God repeatedly for giving me hope. My next breath is always devoted to wishing peace and healing upon you all. My hopes, fears, and wishes probably mean nothing to you, but they are there all the same. May you know peace, may you be free from suffering, and may you feel the love that is the sustenance of life itself. May God bless you and heal your wounds as much as possible. Thank you, Your Honor.
He said he's done many interviews over the years, and he said that he didn't want to apologize to them via letter. He always wanted to do it face to face so they could see how sincere he was. Anyways, I don't know. I see that prison talk with Joshua, and it could be genuine and it could not be. So, I don't know. Hopefully he can do all the good that he wants to do from sitting in there where he's safe and other people are safe from him.